My friends. Well, yeah, no, this isn't Uncle Night Shift, but I've been watching his videos for past 4 years or so, ever since I really got back into the hobby. If you've never seen Night Shift scale models with Martin Kovac, check it out. I mean, definitely some of the best World War I and II armor models I've ever seen. Very attention to detail oriented. I mean, just really good stuff. So obviously, I was surprised to see him actually do a Warhammer model. Even it's a tank, but it's also Warhammer for Warhammer: The Horse Heresy. I knew as soon as I saw the thumbnail, I was like, okay, I really want to do my Sicaran in the same kind of style. Granted, it's not going to have the same paint job because it's a different chapter. I'm going to be using my Space Wolves, but the Imperial Fist Sicaran tank that he did, awesome. Really cool. Like I said, a lot of detail. Stuff that Warhammer modelers like myself, we usually don't get into that much. A lot of people just go with the parade route, make it look nice and brand new looking. You know me, I have to weather everything I do, so yeah, this was right up my alley. All right, starting off, we've got these positioning blocks for the tracks. In his video, he clipped them off, and I was like, well, I'm gonna try and emulate as much as I can from his video. So let's just do it. I also cut off all those little rivets because what he said made sense. He's like, if these are big pieces of armor, you're not gonna have rivets. You're gonna have bolts. So eventually, I make my own bolts and put them on the tank just like he did in his video. So yeah, I've been watching him for a long time, and I've gotten a lot of really good ideas. So yeah, when he decided to do a Warhammer model, I was like, awesome. So scraping away the hard edges here just makes sense. These tanks have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, so they're not going to look brand new. And by the end of this video, yeah, this thing looks like it's going to be like it's been around for hundreds of years. And there's a few things that I didn't do everything like 100%. I mean, I'm still learning with a lot of this stuff. A lot of these techniques I've just tried out for the first time, but you know what? You just get better the more you do it. So, and these flame cut marks, really cool. I'm so glad I decided to do these on there. It just gives it another dimension that you don't normally see come right off the out of the box. And I'll just go in with some extra thin cement. I know in Martin's video he used Mr. Surfacer, but I just had Tamiya. So, just used what I had. And a lot of this stuff is going to be just that. I'm just using what I have and working on trying to emulate and pay homage to an awesome model builder. So, putting some of my own rivets in here, or not rivets. I took the rivets off, remember? Putting some bolts in there. I do have a punch and die, so I made some bolts there. And I don't think I have dies small enough for the rivets on the sides, but I used the smallest one I had. Now this technique right here, he uses this on almost all of his videos. Tamiya, however you want to call it, the putty mixed with some extra thin cement, and this turns into a paste that you just brush right on. Gives a good texture for your for the steel plating on there. And what I used was, I've got a pack of 100 of these school-type paintbrushes. They're easy to use and then just throw away when you're done with them. So I just went ahead and used this. This is the first time I've ever tried this technique, and I really like it. It takes a little bit of time. My basement was a little stinky for a while. Probably should have had a fan blowing or something, but it worked out, and it's a whole new thing that I've never done before. Yep, and then once those brushes are done, I just either clip off the brush part and use the handle for something else, or just throw them away. And then once it's completely dry, we just go ahead and take a sanding sponge and clean up any rough edges. All right, now the turret, I did not go as detailed as he did on his, which I'll try that on my next tank, on the Kratos when I do that one. But I did soften some of those edges up a little bit with just the side of my knife and took it from there. Use the wow stick here on the exhaust And all those little holes got drilled out, so just like our barrels, right guys? And then I take a bullet grinder tip and I just roughed up the bottom on both sides of the sponsons there. And just clip that together. Looking pretty good. And you'll notice there's no incidental music or anything under this. I wanted to try and just pay homage to night shift scale models. No music underneath, and then just talking throughout the whole thing. So hopefully one day Martin sees this video and hopefully he doesn't say, yeah, it's pretty good, but yeah, sell your stuff and buy a bike instead. So no, I don't think so. But it would be nice to find out if he actually gets a chance to watch this video. But I'm definitely using a lot of these techniques on my future builds. Alright, these tracks, yeah, he was right about the tracks with the mold lines. They suck. So that's the only thing I've really had to deal with. And I do a lot of this off camera. I just do a couple scrapes here and there, and then I finish it up off camera. Alright, then I've got all the other bits and bobs there, primed and ready to go. And I've got the Tamiya putty and cement mix on there as well. And there we go. We're getting there. Alright, this technique I really was waiting to try. I don't have the putty, but I have green stuff. So I figured I'd try it out with the green stuff. And yeah, it worked. I mean, you're going to see I'm not as clean of a welder as I should be, but hey, practice makes perfect. And I'll be doing it again on my next build when I do another tank. Look at all those bolts. Alright, so with the green stuff, I add a little bit of water because unless you wait till it's like for 45 minutes, it's very sticky and it's not the easiest thing to move around. So I just did my best with what I had and just add some water. And once I had it in place, just put a towel there. And I don't have a special tool for the weld beads, so I just use the tip of a sculpting tool. Not the best, but like I said, it's my first attempt. And we're doing it on there as well. Some look better than others. Others look like it's been welded over and over and over again. Alright, so Rust-Oleum Flat Brown. I'm going to start off with this for the rust. Best color I have right now for a base for rust. And then we're just going to do just a simple hairspray chipping over it. To the rust brown, or to the flat brown, I wanted to do hull red, but my dumbass got dull red. It's okay because it still works. Yeah, dull red. Dummy. That's okay. You can see the little red spots. I didn't go overboard with the red. I just wanted a few extra spots here and there. I just want to have a few spots for the chipping effect. Okay, going in with the Vallejo Game Color Somber Gray. Now, the 30K Space Wolves are more gray than blue. This looked more gray than blue in the bottle, but when I started spraying it, it looks more blue. So I'm okay with that, though. I'm fine. If there's 40K rules for this tank, I can use it in 40K as well. Then just hitting it with the airbrush. And I'm just being very careful because I've got the chipping medium, which is just hairspray. I don't want to get it too wet and it start to activate it. And for the yellow, the Vallejo Monocolor Yellow Ochre, I probably could have used my airbrush, but I just went on with the brush instead with 2 coats. The first coat was a little thinner than it should have been, and it actually started to activate the hairspray underneath the somber gray. So I had to be really careful with that and just take my time, let it dry really good, then get a second coat. And now this is both sides in the center with just 1 coat. That's a good sized model too. And here is 2 coats, and we're going to start the chipping effect here. Just take a cotton swab there with some just regular tap water, and you just tap it along there. Activate the chipping medium underneath the paint, and it just pulls right off of there. And you can use a cotton bud. You can use I think in Martin's video he used an airbrush needle. I did that in a couple spots. And then or stiff brush too, which is right here. And the stiff brush actually started to activate to the paint where the paint was filling up the brush itself. So yeah, you can see like kind of grayish water in there. But that's how chipping mediums work. I didn't use salt on here though. Maybe on the next one, we'll see. But I really had a good time with this, and like I said, just paying homage to an awesome model builder. I just want to try and make it as close to what he did as possible using what I had. All right, so going back to the somber gray, I'm going to do some chipping on, or not chipping, some sponge painting, kind of like reverse chipping. I'm putting paint back on because there's a few spots that when I got done with it, I was just like, that looks a little too rusty. Like right there, that's a little too much. So we're going to add some paint back into it, but by using the sponge painting, it's going to be just very random. There we go. And there's a couple spots where I hit it with too much paint, but kind of dial it back a little bit, like right there. But when it dries, you don't even notice it, and you just see the rust effects. But yeah, great model. I mean, this is like I said, I've got the larger one, the Kratos. I'll be doing that probably in the near future here too. So. And get it on the table and fight against my son's death guard. Alright, so we're getting there. Now we haven't even put any kind of oils or enamels on there yet. The sponson weapons, these little side shields here, did the same thing, chipping medium, and then the yellow ochre, and then go right in, just start pulling off some paint. There we go. Alright, so the Abaddon Black, this is the very first time I got a chance to use my new Harder and Steenbeck airbrush, and yep, I'm getting there. Takes a little bit of practice, but it's a beautiful airbrush. I was having a few issues though with the pressure, so. But in the end, I'm really happy how everything turned out. I get some on the bottom here because I really want to make the bottom of the tank nice and dirty, caked up for where all the dirt gets kicked up from the tracks. There we go. And the more I use it, the better I'll get with it. Alright, now for some enamels, some AK Interactive Streaking Grime. Going to hit these areas right by the weld beads, right along the sides, anywhere where oil would like really start to build up. Yeah, definitely by those bolts by the wheels. There we go. And use it as a almost like a pin wash. We just take a makeup sponge with some enamel thinner and just start pulling off the excess. That way it stays in the crevices where you want it, and then the rest of it you can just kind of maneuver and work into the areas around it. There we go. Alright. Decals, decals, transfers, however you want to call them. Get that on there. And just work out the rest of the water that might be underneath the decal. And then move to the other side. I didn't put a whole lot of decals on this one. I think just two wolf's heads, a couple numbers, and then the chaplain skull on the other side too. But we're looking good. All right, back to the enamels. AK Interactive Light Rust Wash. I hit all of the bolt heads with this. I could have used the Vallejo acrylic wash, but I figured, okay, well, if I want to pull some of that back with some thinner, I can do that. So we're getting all these bolt heads rusted up here, and then also getting the back exhaust taken care of as well. Then going back with the somber gray, doing a little bit of sponge painting there. I found a few more areas that I just was like, that's way too rusty, and let's just clean this up a little bit. And the nice thing about this is I could take that original color there and hit that decal there, and it makes it look like the paint is actually chipping off the decal, which in world would have been painted on. So just kind of weathers that up as well. And just hitting a few spots here and there. Once it dries, it just blends right in, so you don't even have to worry about it looking too light or the rest of it being too dark. But yep, just getting some areas there. A few spots where I'm just like, maybe it was a little too rusty. Alright, okay, Vallejo Game Color Silver for those weld beads. This shows you how much of a bad welder I am. So we're just going to just tap, tap, tap and get those on there. And I'm going to promise that my next tank with weld beads is going to look a little bit better with those. I'm actually going to try and make one of those special tools that that Uncle Night Shift uses, rather than the tip of my of a sculpting tool. That was shaky. Alright, so some more sponge painting. Got the yellow ochre to chip up the Space Wolf decal. And got to hit the main guns with some lead belcher. Looking good. And then some Retributor armor for that brass insert there, for it looks like the shells. Now, instead of using null oil, Basilicanum Gray, Danny over at Easy 8, you got me hooked on this. Instead of using null oil, I use this on all the, like anything that I would normally use null oil on. It just looks so much better. Alright, Citadel Air Mortarian Green Clear, getting those lenses there. I end up using 2 coats on these. I like green lenses on my stuff. And if you look close, you can see the enamel rust wash, how it looks when it's dried. Looking good. Okay, for the actual wheels, we're going with Citadel Iron Warriors. It's a nice oily type steel color there. And then hitting a little bit more of the streaking grime with a shaky cam there. And just a little bit of streaks there. Going to get in a few different areas, and then after happy with the results, I'm going to go ahead and knock it back with some enamel thinner. There we go, just to help refine it a little bit. Then I want to make sure we had some by these by the wheels as well. Yeah, I am really enjoying this so far. This is such a fun tank to build. Alright, so Krylon Red Oxide Spray for the tracks. While that's drying, I'm going to airbrush a little bit of Flayed One Flesh into the areas that are going to be kind of dusty from where the dirt from the tracks fell off. Bounced around onto the tank. And then I'll use that as a dust coat as well over the decals here pretty soon. Alright, so some just some stippling right there with London Gray. And later on I'll put a track wash on there as well. Alright, so I've got some ballast fixer and some construction sand I'm going to try and find the smallest particles of with my fingers there. And do a little bit of a little pinch on each side. And then get some more on the other side and on the inside as well. Just want to have it where the where it would fall off the tracks at that point. And get some on the tops of those as well. And get another pinch in there. Perfect. Alright, with the pipette I'm going to put some more ballast fixer on there. Keep that all in place. I'm sure I probably could use PVA glue, but I think PVA isn't as strong as this. I could be wrong. I might have just spent money that I didn't need to, but we'll see. And then on top of the fixer, I put a little bit more of the dirt. Dirt and sand and rocks, and shake it off. There we go. Alright, Tracks Wash by Ammo by Meg. Getting those in the center, and then what you're not going to see is me blending that all together with some enamel or enamel thinner. I don't do the bottom though. There we go. It's a little shiny because it's still wet. Get those sides. Now for the glowing effect, I'm going to start it off with Tesseract Glow, and using the airbrush here. A little heavy, but it's okay. It dries to the point where you can't tell. Looks good. And then we're going to top that with some Citadel Flash Gets Yellow. Now normally on a glow like that I'll put a little bit of white in there. I didn't do it this time, but it looked fine without it. Nice. Alright, so the side weapons here, I just based them in black and dry brushed them with gunmetal. I ended up using the Volkite Culverin on both sides. But we're getting down to the wire on this one, so hey, if you like it, give it a like, share the video, comment, tell me if I'm anywhere close to a tenth of the skill level of Uncle Night Shift, and yeah, just let me know. Subscribe if you're not, and we hit our 1,000 subscriber milestone about almost a month ago now, so still super excited about that. And yeah, it's just having a great time so far with this. So okay, so the dirt buildup here, it was a little too light, so what I did was I hit it with some Mournfang Brown in a wash form, and then I'll put a little bit of Flayed One Flesh on top of that after that dries, just to knock it around a little bit, give it a little bit of depth. Because honestly, the original, it was blending in too much with the sides there. All right, Vallejo Game Color Silver with the nastiest brush in the world. Yeah, look at that. And then pretty much the final touch here, it's Artist Pigments. I'm using Burnt Umber. That's for some heavier rust on the bottom of the tank where everything gets kicked up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit that with a spray bottle with some isopropyl alcohol, and that's going to fix it in place. And yep, there's that Flayed One Flesh. Just put a little bit on each side. That looks good. Okay, to finish it off now, we're going to do some Dirty Down Rust. We're going to get it on the exhaust, the manifolds, the mufflers, all that fun stuff. Make it look nice and rusty. Okay, and there we have it. That is the finished Sicaran battle tank using techniques for building and painting from night shift scale models. This was the first time I got a chance to use any of these techniques, and honestly, I'm going to use them again in the future. It's just going to be a matter of just practice makes perfect. The weld beads, I'm going to probably make my own tool like Martin has, and get those a little bit cleaner. And yeah, I just learned a lot by doing it this first time. Yeah, you can see those weld beads are a little bit big, but I'm just gonna say that they've welded this thing together more than a few times. So with that, yeah, I had to get some dirty down in there as well. But yeah, so much fun building this, and I think I probably watched the Night Shift Sicaran build video probably about 45 times. It's so yeah, yeah. You're welcome, Martin. You got some more views there, but yeah, had so much fun with this. The tracks, I probably will do those a little bit different on my next build, but I'm loving that rust effect on the bottom. Just the constant buildup. I'll probably use some oils in the next one as well, so we'll see what happens. But like I said before, if you're not subscribed, please consider it, because we've got a lot of projects coming up. I'm probably going to forego October this year just because of my schedule, but I will have a nice project for Halloween. And then, yeah, in the meantime, like the video, share it to your friends, comment, because we're getting a lot of comments, not only on newer videos, but on older ones. So, and apart from that, I thank you again for watching. And we'll see you in the next one. Hey, if you liked the video, check out the playlist on the left, subscribe on the right, and thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Marshmallow.
I can't bend down like this. Take pictures.
Ow!